Grüß dich! So, here we are, again. I want to take this time to tell all 60 of my subscribers thank you so much. I do not know what I would do without you. I would probably still make these videos, but they wouldn't be as fun. I really thank you guys for tuning in, hitting the like button, hitting the little bell, letting me know that you're out there, and all of your comments. Thanks a lot. And I'm going to dive right in. This right here is going to be just random things that I've noticed while living here in Germany. I'm going to get right down to it because I don't want to delay. Because also I noticed that when I edit these videos, it takes a long time. I don't have that much time. I have time, but it's a lot easier if I know what I'm talking about ahead of time. And I don't like to make my videos too long or too short. So let's dive right in. So one of the things that I've noticed while living here is, well, when I used to live here, way back in the day, we could go to the German bakeries, which were on almost every corner, and we can get German bread, Brötchen as they're called here, an assortment of breads. But the one thing that we all know, if you were an American overseas, then you know all about Brötchen. Brötchen, or any way you want to pronounce it, it is the slice of goodness that makes Germany what Germany is. One of the big things that makes Germany what it is. The Brötchen. And there was a time when you can buy 5 of these little teeny rolls and you could take them home and they'd last all day until the next day. You cut them open, they may be just a little bit harder. However, they were still good. But nowadays, when you walk into a German bakery, you purchase your 3 to 4 Brötchen and you cut through. It's not, I don't even think the cutting of these Brötchen are the same anymore, because it's, once you cut right into it, there used to be a time I can cut like almost all the way through to make 2 halves, and you can take the little ball out the center, the little dough ball, the most beautifulest, fluffiest thing that ever touched your tongue. Pop that sucker in your mouth and it was delightful. That's how you knew the difference between just baked Brötchen and one that's been sitting there for a little while. Not the case anymore in Germany. Nowadays, correct me if I'm wrong, Germans, but there is a delivery truck that brings the dough to the German bakeries, maybe a day ahead, but they bring it there and it's already doing its rising and its kneading that they all usually used to do back in the day. It's gone now. Now we have a truck that comes to these little bakeries, which some of them aren't even located in town anymore. They're mostly located in the front of grocery stores. If you have a Lidl in the States, you must have seen the bakery section right when you walk through the door. It's kind of like that, only on a better, more local scale. However, the German Brötchen, I was disappointed. I really was when I came back here in December to find out that I can go and buy these little babies right around 7 in the morning, earlier, sometimes earlier. Anyways, I would buy 2 or 3 of them, bring them into the house, in the morning, cut them open. They were nice. I'm not going to lie, they were delicious. But then, 12 o'clock, I wouldn't eat all 3 of them in one sitting. I'd eat maybe 1.5 to 2 of them, and then the whole one would be used at lunchtime when I wanted to open it up and make a full-on sandwich, a Brötchen with meat and all the goodness that there is in Germany. Leberwurst, Leberkäse, what else? Blutwurst, your Gelbwursts, all of them. I'd put them all on the sandwich. It was great. But you cut into the Brötchen and it's hard as a rock. I could put it into the oven. It's okay, but this is not the Germany I remember. So I'm kind of bummed out. However, both me and Heather decided to go into Edeka, is what it's called, and we went down the bread aisle. We bypassed the bakery, went down the bread aisle just to look, just to see what's up, and wouldn't you know it, there was something called Sonntagsbrötchen. Now that means Sunday bread or Sunday Brötchen. Because, as many of you that are over here already know, Germany, nothing's open on Sundays. One thing that is open in some small towns are the bakery section of the grocery stores. So that's why they're also in the front of the entranceway of the store, is because sometimes on Sundays they will open up their bakery section and bake whatever was left over from that Saturday. But they bake it up, and you can come in there between around 7 in the morning until around 11 or 12 to get you some fresh Brötchen, which is great. But Sunday mornings, we started noticing we like to just lay around the house, and we're not getting up around 7 or 8. And then by that time, you're like, man, do we make the trek to the store for these little Brötchens? We're already late. By the time you get there, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Almost all of the good stuff's gone. If you could relate, hit a comment, let me know. But the Sonntagsbrötchen, which is it's packaged. So I have one here I want to show you. This is Sonntagsbrötchen. And if you could see Sonntagsbrötchen, and how many are in this little sucker? 8. There's 8 Brötchens in here. I wish I could open it up, but once you open it up, then, well, you know, it's going to go a little, it'll dry out fast. What these are 2/3 cooked Brötchen. So they essentially have already done some of the work for you, and I feel like a hypocrite saying, well, you know, Dave, you complaining about people not making their own dough from scratch in the morning, and here you are having pre-packaged Brötchen. Well, let me tell you why this is important, and there's a difference. This is 2/3 baked already. All you have to do is take out as many as you want, and you put them in the oven for 8 minutes, and they come out crispy. You cut them open, and that ball of dough is waiting to be popped into your mouth. Waiting, just popped. I can't even explain what that tastes like unless you're really into bread. Regardless, I just got lost. So what you do is, once you open that, you don't have to seal it. You can put it in the refrigerator if you want to. But Sonntagsbrötchen is basically some genius baker out there said, well, you know, since these stores aren't open, nothing's open, and people still want their Brötchen, let's give them something to talk about, right? Let's give them something to talk about. Who sings that? Anyways, so you can put that into the oven, and this is a great invention. And whoever thought about this was ahead of their time, because this is well worth it. So stop spending your money, Germans, on the bakery if you buy in bulk and you want to have that one Brötchen at lunchtime and it's hard as a rock. Get you one of these bags. Stock up if you want. You can find them in the freezer section too, already frozen, ready to go. That's one thing, randomly, I wanted to talk about today. Another thing, dogs. I have dogs. I have 2 dogs. I'm sure you guys noticed that in the opening of our videos, and also I walk them everywhere. We walk them to parks. We walk them up trails. We found a couple of different places that we can go with them on Sundays when everything else is closed. So we decided that we're going to take them around our block in our small village where we live. Here's a couple things that you need to know. There are not a lot of people that own dogs around our village. I'm sure there are in other villages. But Americans owning dogs, not 1 dog, but 2 dogs, walking them in a village, it's a little bit different. You get stared at, which, correct me again, leave a comment if I'm wrong, Germans. You're not used to seeing strangers. You're not used to seeing people that aren't from your town come in with their, what you may think is wild animals on these leashes, you know, going crisscross across these little narrow cobblestone roads, you know, trying to sniff everything in sight. That's because our dogs really like other dogs. They may not show it when they approach, but they do like other dogs. And in doing so, they like to sniff. A neighbor back in the States we would come out there to her front yard, and she wouldn't mind. She'd let the dogs sniff. She'd let them pee sometimes, whatever. She was like, oh, don't worry about it. Your dogs are awesome. It's great. It's all right. They're only just checking their pee mail. It's okay. I heard crickets. But that was pretty cool. It's pee mail. It's pee mail. That's what they're doing. So, but in Germany, let me tell you, when you're walking around the block with your dogs, you got to watch where you're walking, because even though some of these yards in the front yard are very small, Germans love their front yards. They love being able, even in the rain, even when it's pouring down rain and I didn't know it was pouring and I decided I'm going to go ahead and take the dogs for a walk because they're bothering me, I take them around the block and there's maybe 2 or 3 people that I've noticed, not going to point them out, but they do not like me walking towards their lawn. I have to pass their lawn to get to my house, and it's raining, pouring down rain, and it's muddy, but it doesn't matter. My little dog lifts his leg, boom, 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 on the window it goes. I look up, and sure enough, somebody is schimpfing me, schimpfing to me. German, it's warning you, it's telling you, don't you do it. Don't you let your dog lift that leg up. You let that dog lift that leg, I'm coming out. I'm coming out with a switch. I don't think they're coming out with a switch. But I did make eye contact, and I gave him the okay sign, gave him the thumbs up. I was like, it's fine, but what do you do? It's their land. It's their small area of property. So we avoid them when we go on our routes. But just know that no matter what the weather is, it doesn't matter if the pee's going to run down the drain. Do not walk your dogs really close to where they can lift their leg up if you're a male dog. Just be cautious and courteous to your neighbors, because some do not have dogs. Some do not understand the principalities of it. But that's one thing I've noticed, living here. They will bang on their windows. They have done that to me. Once I ignored it, and then the next time I saw it and felt that boom, I knew that was directed towards me. I thought it was the mailman next to me, but it wasn't. It was me. Whatever. Another random thing that maybe you guys don't know about if you were deciding to move over here, or if you wanted to pack it up and decided, hey, how cost effective is the utilities? What is the German electric bill like? How does gas work? Magnets. Total different thing. So here's what I know, and I can only go through I'm going to go through, my computer's over here. I'm going to go through 3 of them real quick. These are all utilities. So utilities are sometimes paid for by the landlord, and sometimes, depending on where you work, if you're contracting out, sometimes some things are included in your total bills. In our case, the landlord covers the water and puts it in with the rent, and that's pretty awesome. And we do get a voucher for rent, so that's pretty cool too. So we get a little bit taken off, to help us with living expenses here in Germany. But what isn't covered is electric most of the times. If you're contracting over here, civilian contractor has to pay for their electric, their oil and gas. You either have both. I don't know if you have both. I know we have oil. Here's the difference. When we were in Georgia, we had gas. So you pay a certain amount a month for gas, and you let it go as that. And in the winter months, it was pretty high. In the summer months, it was pretty low. I'm sure you guys know. Here, a lot of things are regulated. I don't know about the gas part, but I could tell you about the oil and the electric. We'll start with the electric. The electric, someone comes out from the electric company and reads the meter. He reads it once a year, and it's normally in December, and then he comes back the following December, and it's regulated, so you pay the exact same amount for every month. So let's just say, and from the previous owner now is where it comes from. So whoever lived in our house before us was paying about 140 euros for electric. So he ended up paying 140 euros per month for 12 months. And if he went up high, if he used electricity one time in the summer a little bit more than normal, then all of that gets balanced out at the end when it's red again. Once it's red again, you'll either have to pay, or you're going to you get a credit back. If you get a credit back, guys, it's pretty cool, because then it goes to your next cycle. And so you don't get that money back in hand, but it's good to know that, hey, if your electric bill is 140 a month and you end up only spending about 120, 115 a month, you can do the math and you're getting a really good credit back. So that goes towards your favor, which is great. The oil, total other story. I don't know how the oil works in the States, but here they have tankers. I've done a video on it already where you saw my tankers, and there's an oil truck that comes and he fills up The side of my house has got a little tube, goes straight to the 2 tankers, and you end up paying right there. You pay the guy right there. If you're contracting, or I don't know how the military does it, but you have to come up with a lump sum right there and give that to him, and he gives you a receipt. That's one way of paying. Another way I'm thinking is that you can go through the military, but I have no answers for that because we're not related to the military, so I don't know the answers to that. There's other YouTube pages that could tell you that. But this here, you have to go ahead and come up with some money right there on the spot so that you can get some oil in the house. And the oil goes pretty fast. If I could do another video and show you just how fast the oil goes, like a time lapse, you'll see. But what I've heard, we haven't been here long enough to tell, is that it starts evening out like during April, May, or June. And then we won't be using a lot of oil to heat the house with. So we'll see what happens. I'll give you an update on that. So one thing I needed to let you know is that utilities require a contract, just like the phone, you require a 2-year contract. And once your contract is coming up for renewal, you have to either know you're moving or know that you're leaving the area or you don't want to be in the contract anymore, and you have to give them 3 months notice. If you do not, it rolls over and you're back on it for another 2 years. There's nothing you can do about it. So, word of caution, if you do not like your phone cellular provider, if you don't like your carrier, you're going to have to give them a written notice. I think it's an email. I'm not trying to get out of my contract right now, so I don't know. Go to your carrier and have a discussion with them and let them know that you're thinking about canceling, because you don't want to have to get into a contract and be stuck in it for another 2 years if you're leaving or if you're not happy. So those are things that I didn't really know about here in Germany, or that I was pretty shocked with. The last thing I want to talk about is my love for everything that has to do with Asian food. I love it. Like, my wife is way into Mexican food, and me in Germany, looking for chopsticks in my previous videos. I love it. And if there's one thing I was going to miss, it was going to be kimchi. And I don't know, some of you guys are probably going to fast forward now, but I want to let you know that I was tired of waiting around thinking, how am I ever going to have kimchi again? Because I went to that small store, I think you've seen it in another video, if not, go check it out, where they had all of the ramen and the chopsticks. I was able to get my fix on that, but they had no kimchi. And that's one thing I was going to miss. So, coming over here to visit my mom, we had a talk, and my stepfather is way into Asian culture, and we had a talk about kimchi. He tells me, you'll never believe this, but I just made a batch. So I looked, I was like, I'd like to see this batch. Sure enough, I did see his batch, and it was pretty awesome. Brought his batch of kimchi out, I took a taste of it, and it was too salty. So I was like, holy macaroni, what did you do wrong? We went and investigated. Next thing you know, and I want to say that I went to YouTube, figured that sucker out, and 4 to 5 days later, I made a small batch of kimchi, and I was very satisfied with it. So guess what, everybody? Dave can now add kimchi to his arsenal of things that he likes to make. You don't believe me? Watch this. What? What is that? Oh, are you fermenting? Hold on. Yes? Oh, those are bubbles. When there's bubbles, there's fermentation. Must be doing something right. That's my kimchi right there. And tomorrow, I'll be able to open it up and taste it. And I'm sure it's going to taste just like the other batch I made, because I went to the straight recipe. But if you guys are interested in knowing how to make kimchi, which is really crazy since I'm in Germany talking about kimchi, if you really want to know, just let me know and I'll send you the link to the YouTube video that I went to try to learn this. You can learn everything off YouTube. Like this, for instance. You can learn how to hit the subscribe button, the bell, and check out our videos. We really appreciate you guys stopping by. Guys, it's been really fun, and it's fun watching my views climb the charts a little bit. I am by no means looking to get as much views as possible. I just want to be able to continue to do these videos and hopefully add some happiness to y'all's lives from across the pond. So with that, I'd like to say thanks again for watching. Please subscribe and tschüss!